The first match yesterday against my teammates with JJ was really close, and it was very interesting because I thought we both knew what we were gonna pick and ban in the first one, but apparently he assumed that I would ban Druid, and turned out I've been banning Shaman the whole time. So then he banned Druid as always, I banned Shaman, and suddenly he thought this meant that I was gonna pick Freeze Mage or something. So I was going under the assumption of him just seeing this as a normal ban, not thinking too much into it. So I was kind of gambling that he would not pick Hunter. And in that case, my Freeze Mage would be super good. After all was said and done, I think I had a decent lineup against him, like pretty even, potentially with a slight advantage to him, I'm not sure. And then how the games panned out was really a lot of close matches where I'm not sure if I made like the correct move of not playing into second Drake swipe in the final game. I got punished, but yeah, it's unclear what would have happened. And obviously, I was playing a bit of a high roll deck. I can say at least. Like if you roll spell power a lot with the Totem Charm, it's really good. Unfortunately, I never rolled a single spell power or spell damage until the very end. JJ and I, we do practice quite a lot, and we used to play a lot against each other and in the practice group that I was in. But the thing is, you get very accustomed to each other's play styles, and you factor in, without knowing, you factor in each other's preferences, mulligans, all this. So eventually it doesn't gain as much practicing against each other. So we actually haven't played that much against each other. But back in the day, it was fairly 50-50, honestly. In the final match versus Orange yesterday, it was very interesting ban and pick phase for both of us. I think we were both surprised at what ended up happening. I felt like I had a super strong Freeze Mage pick against him. Like, I didn't see a single one of his decks being favored against it. Although it's kind of unclear exactly how the Shaman matchup is. Because his Shaman is not full mid-range, but it looks more like a mid-range than an aggro. But it does have a Doomhammer. So if he draws a Doomhammer, maybe it can play out a little bit like an aggro Shaman. I think my Freeze Mage was a big one, and I think maybe he didn't really see it. In my opinion, I had an advantage. I don't know if people often see it differently. So maybe in his mind it was the same and he was favored because he sees some matchups differently. But for me, I expected him kind of to queue Tempo Mates in the first one, and I queued my Druid into it, and I feel like that's a favorable matchup, but I think that might be one of the points where we disagree. I think at some points I was like thinking to myself, what is going on right now? I've never seen this in like the last year. And also wasn't completely sure about the overall strategy of some matchups. Like I feel like usually his priest deck should be super bad against Freeze Mage, but then there's the Bran Alchemist potential, and he actually had Bran and double Alchemist before I got stuff rolling, and I think it's just because I drew like very little cycle. I'm playing against the loser of Tessin vs Stansifka. I should probably give Stansifka the credit of having, I think, like a really good lineup and also being, a top class player. In terms of who I would like to face, in terms of my chances, I think Tessin has to be the answer, even though I don't think he's a weak player or anything.